So it's very, very easy to get distracted to those things which are not very helpful. Very difficult to do those things which is helpful, right? Because those bad things, not so useful things, are very, very visible and everybody is doing it. Then you think, okay, I should also do it. I'm part of the society, I should do it. Without thinking whether this is useful or not, right? When it comes to doing something positive, especially related to your mental thinking, then this is more or less invisible. And nobody wants to do that invisible thing. But the truth is, it is by handling and controlling and developing this invisible emotions within yourself, there is a possibility of becoming Buddha, or even in this life, you will become a completely special person. Even in the ordinary world, all these big revolutions and changes are brought about not so much through external material things. Even the so-called technology is product of human thinking. Even artificial intelligence is a product of human thinking. That's why it is called artificial. It is really, in the long run, it's not of much use, according to my thinking, right? So if the teacher is a good educator, he should teach students how to say no to artificial intelligence. You will be shocked to hear this. It's not just me saying, there are many people who are saying that. Because you are being replaced by machines. So the question in your education, in your dharma practice, in your life, the question that is at your disposal is, you want to continue to remain as a human being or as a piece of technology? The very, very crucial point. Now some of the thinkers, they may not be talking about nirvana enlightenment, but they are thinkers. So they say what kind of education we should give, say in the year 2050 or in the 22nd century. What kind of education we should give? And then the answer is, they say it's very difficult to say what kind of education we should have for 2050 or in the 22nd century, because things are changing so fast. Technology, speed of science and technology is so quick. So it's difficult to fathom. But change is change. You have to accept it. You have to live with the change. And to live with the change, unless you have these internal resources of having the capacity what to accept, what to discard, if you don't have those resources, you'll become crazy, you'll become insane. We are already becoming insane. How many people are suffering from depression? How many people are suffering from loneliness? How many people are suffering from low self-esteem? And how many crazy things are done in the world today? I don't really have to explain all this in detail. We already, now it will be worse. Sorry to say that. Because the more and more we are pretending that we can, walk with the speed of science and technology. Number one, we cannot. Number two, it is not necessary. You should control science, you should control technology, not the other way around. And we are, that is what I said, we are like small kids. If you give even if you give a broken toy, the kids will be so happy. They think this is like the most precious thing in the world. They'll spend the whole day, playing with this broken kid, a broken toy. So we are like that. We are given these toys produced by science, and we are so fascinated with that. You use the camera and see your image, and so you're so fascinated with that, right? And then you see the robots walking, you see so fascinated. Oh, it's a robot walking. You're not fascinated with yourself that you can do much better than the robot. You're not fascinated with that. You're fascinated with the machine walking. You're fascinated with the machine talking. And then you go after that. Machine, you have to be very careful. What you see on the screen of a television, it's one-sided story. You have no role to play. You just sit there like a zombie for 5-6 hours, right? And taking all the information within yourself. If you don't have the capacity to judge, distinguish between what is right, what is wrong, And then you get all the so-called information, but actually it is not information, it is misinformation. Countless misinformation that we are getting. If you listen to the story of America, it all seems very good. If you listen to the story of Russia, it all seems good, you know. So, right? So we should be able to sit, between the right and the wrong, make a distinction between the right and wrong. For that, you have to have this internal intelligence, emotional intelligence. We are really like so easily distracted by these external things, So that's why Vasubandhu, he said, if you get distracted to even one sensual object, you may, lose your life. For example, a butterfly so attracted to butter lamp goes there and dies. An elephant so attracted to touch lets people massage, and then he enjoys so much, he would sit down, and then the human being enslaves that elephant, chains that elephant. And the fish so attracted by this small piece of meat that they put on on the bait as the bait by the fisherman, gets so attracted to it, and in order to try to, when he tries to get it, he's caught and killed. Some of the wild animals like deer, they are so fond of listening to music. When they hear some beautiful music, they come towards that, and then there is a trap laid there by the hunter. The deer is caught and killed. And then look at the house flies, how many of them die in hundreds in darts because they are fond of that smell. So if you get attracted to just one sensual objects, you can get into big problems. That's what he said, Vasubandhu. So now look at us. we, we are absolutely, distracted in all of the five sensual objects. So when we say I'm busy, you're saying I'm running after one of those sensual objects. And the market is flooding with all those sensual objects because they know stupid people are coming. They'll work like a donkey, and the little money they've earned, they'll throw it, and they can enjoy. Now that's why today the world is ruled by business people. Am I right or wrong? The so-called president, prime minister, they are only the front face, but they are basically ruled by rich people. There was a time when the world was ruled by army generals. Now today we are ruled by business people. We can't blame them because we are so stupid, We keep on buying whatever they produce. Whether it's even the junk food, rotten food, we'll buy it. So as long as it is packed nicely, right? So that's why this teaching is saying, be mindful, be extra careful. Trap is laid there by so many people. They only want money, you see. Okay. So 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 today, due to the kindness of the Lama, you found this realization of hearing, thinking, and meditation, which is really like a precious gem. Now, having stumbled upon a very costly precious gem, say gold or diamond, something, so without taking care of it, if you throw it into the dump, if you throw it into the trash, it's a great loss. So likewise, the realization that you've got today, if you don't cherish it, if you don't further nurture it, but instead, if you let it dissipate, if you let it lost, running here and there in the crowd, saying that I'm very busy and don't pay attention to this is not only loss, but I would say greatest loss. Because at the end of the day, the only thing that will help you is these internal realizations. Nothing else will help you. This loss is possible because you do not meditate on cause-effect relationship. You don't meditate on law of karma. If you meditate on law of karma, then you will be at least a little more extra careful that if I do this, I'll get into trouble. If I do this, I'll get this benefit. If you think about law of causality. Okay. Then the next one is the profound oral instructions of the Siddhas are wasted or lost when bartered like merchandise to ordinary unworthy people. This is probably talking more to the teachers. This profound pith instruction of Siddhas means the highly accomplished masters. If you sell it just like a merchandise to the unfortunate black people, the exact word used is unfortunate black people. Black people is not in terms of color, but here black people means who only think about developing negative emotions, who only engage in negative emotions. These are black deeds, and they are therefore unfortunate. See, who is fortunate, who is unfortunate is clearly outlined here. People who think, who have a lot of money, and in fact, who earn money through, all kind of ways by exploiting, cheating, In many cases, there may be some rich people who become rich because of their forefathers or because they've really worked hard. This is okay, but there are kind of so-called rich people who become rich by employing all kind of negative means, black marketing, and all those things that you see in the newspaper all the time now, right? Right. So therefore, he's saying that this very profound pith instruction that you got from your accomplished teachers and masters, you should share it to those people who are really interested in listening to such teaching, who want to experience such teaching. But you should not just share it just like a merchandise. This is also possible, especially for teachers. If you're invited by some really famous rich people, you feel very happy, thinking that, oh, now I'm going to a very rich man's house. I might get a lot of offering. Possible, you see, right? So you should share such teaching to only those people who are really, really interested, not because they give you something in exchange, right? Especially he says sharing it with those people who are unfortunate, who has no interest in the teaching. You see, so they'll participate. If you're, for example, giving the so-called empowerment initiation, it's a ceremonial thing. This unfortunate black people will not come to your teaching if you give in a lengthy discussion and explanation. They'll not come. But if there's a ceremony called long life, then they also want long life, so they'll come. You see. So they are not ready actually. They are not ready. They come, they are thinking that their life will be prolonged, but life cannot be prolonged like that. Unless from your side you come with a good motivation and preparation. You cannot, there's no magical kind of transformation by some teacher. That's why the Buddha said, I've shown you the path to liberation. Liberation is up to you. He never said just have blind faith and I'll boom, enlightenment. I'll give you enlightenment. He never said that. That's not possible. But many people, come. So therefore he's saying that because these rich people are there, if you give this, so there are some teachers who say, oh, if there are very rich people around them, then they'll say, oh, this is a very special, teaching. Only few people have this lineage, and Hindi में बोलते हैं ना बड़ा चढ़ा के, हाँ, you exaggerate and then you बेवकूफ बना देते हैं, right? And you fool other people. Actually, you are fooling yourself. But this is how the world goes. So if you do this, this is a really, really great loss. The profound with instruction means the instruction that you got from the very, very highly accomplished Tibetan and Indian masters. So you should, those very important profound teachings, you should actually practice secretly. This is one meaning. Practice secretly. Don't just keep on proclaiming that, oh, I've received this teaching from that teacher. Oh, I received this from that teacher. You don't do your practice, but simply counting, and proclaiming it to others so that others will think, oh, he's somebody who is the lineage holder. He's a great teacher. So we should go to him. With that kind of expectation, if you say that, then you are really selling the Dharma as a merchandise. So this is uh, so except to fortunate students, right? You should not just keep on advertising it. If it's a merchandise, yes, advertise it. Then you can tell all the lies. This is something we see on the television screen all the time. There is an advertisement on a particular cream or a soap. Then they say, oh, use it and overnight you will become white, which is a lie, which doesn't work like that. But we're all stupid. So we think this is true. We buy it. So the teaching also becomes like this. Then this is a great disgrace, right? Okay. Now, unfortunate people means not the lay people, not just householder. Even in the case of householder, there are people who may be householder living ordinary life, but they are very sincere. They are doing dharma practice. And then in cases, the unfortunate may be among the sanghas, among the monks and nuns also. Unfortunate may be there also. So it does not refer only to the householders or lay people. It refers to everybody who doesn't do practice, who doesn't pay attention to these teachings. They are unfortunate. They are unfortunate. Ordinarily, we say if you have a lot of cars, nearby, you have 3, 4 buildings, and think, oh, you're so rich, you're so lucky, you're so fortunate. No, there's not fortunate. There's unfortunate, actually. Right? The more you have these so-called facilities, they are actually not facilities. The so-called facilities are not actually facilities. If you think from the point of view of Dharma, they are distractions. They are distractions. As is said by Nagarjuna in his letter to the friend, he said, if the king of the Naga is something like, snake, serpent. So the king of Naga is said to have 5 heads, the hooded kind of head. The ordinary Nagas or snakes, they have only 1 head, right? So the king, which has 5 heads, looks nice, right? Because he has many heads. He possesses many heads. But the problem is, the more head you have, the more there will be problems. Today, the right head is okay. The middle head is hard. The middle head and the right head is okay. The left head is hard. But those who have only 1 head, that is not the case. So those of us who, make a show off by saying, oh, I have 8 brothers and 10 sisters, and then this building there, that building there. The more you have, the more there will be problem. Nothing comes value free. Right? So don't get too excited and think that you are fortunate because you, over the years, accumulated so many of these possessions and relatives and friends. Because on the day when you really suffer, when you're on the deathbed, none of these possessions are of any benefit, none of your relatives will benefit. Even in the case of the very sincere relatives and friends, they will not be able to do much. But in the case of false friends, much before, when they start your decline, they'll all be gone. Even if you call them, they'll not answer. Unfortunately, this is the case. This is the case. So unfortunately, in many cases, people are there to eat with you and to drink with you. That's it. When that is not there, they're gone. Unfortunately, friends are many when your purse is jingling with money, as we say. And friends are far and scarce when there is no money left, no power left. This we all know, especially people, many of you who sit in big cities, you all know this very well. I've been giving teachings in Mumbai and Delhi and some other places. I've met a number of people who had this problem, right? Okay. Okay. So, in short, so this profound realization that you got, if you just sell it for few days food, few days housing, then it's very unfortunate. That is what he's saying. This should be cherished as a precious gem and further enhance it and promote it. Okay. Number 9. All sentient beings, your own kind parents, are lost when, out of hatred, you abandon and forsake them. So, sentient beings are your kind parents because the lives that you have taken is countless. In all this, like countless lives, they may have acted your brother, your sister, your father, your mother, your enemy, and so forth. But we don't recall, we don't try to think that they have been my enemy, so I must revenge this life. That's the wrong way of thinking. So you think from the positive way of thinking, they must have acted as my relatives, and especially among relatives, your mother is said to be the epitome of kindness, as we all know. When you're helpless, a little born child, the mother carries their child 9 months in the womb. Then after taking birth, it's primarily the mother who looks after their child. Not so much. The father is not much in the scene. It's primarily the mother. So mother taking special care of the mother, taking special care of women is highly, highly encouraged by His Holiness Dalai Lama and many thinkers like Mahatma Gandhi. And from my point of view, also this is very, very important because mother, generally speaking, symbolizes compassion and love, and they are much, much more tender. And mother is actually the first teacher of your life. Other classroom teachers come much later, right? So whether you become a compassionate, loving person or not is very much dependent upon the mother, right? So therefore, mother here the word parents is used, but normally all sentient beings are our mother. That's the phrase that we use. So all these kind parent sentient beings, if you abandon them with hatred, this is a great loss. This is a great loss because if you do that, then how are you going to do dharma practice? When you do dharma practice, when you develop compassion, focusing on sentient sufferings of sentient beings. When you develop loving kindness, you develop loving kindness by thinking how nice if all the sentient beings meet with happiness. When you practice patience with other sentient beings. You can't practice patience with, you know, stones. Maybe a little bit, but not much, right? So the very reason that you are doing dharma practice is to become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. That is your practice, especially in the Mahayana, school. So this being your objective. But if you segregate them, divide them, saying this is my relative, this is my enemy, these are neutral sentient beings, I don't care whether they are good or happy or unhappy, then this is very unfortunate. This is really like your old mother, your old physical mother, who in her old age is not able to do much. So therefore, you discard, abandon your mother. It is actually happening, unfortunately, in today's world. In the West, it is plenty. When the child becomes young and grows, go with the wife and leave the parents behind. So now those who are rich, they have almost like five-star kind of rooms where they can pay money and there will be somebody to take care of them. And those who can't afford that, I don't think there are many places where they are taken care of. So they have to just manage by themselves. Yeah. In India also now we see so many documentaries and stories of young, couples sending their parents to old age homes. It's not just helping them, it's just kicking them out. Movies are there, documentaries are there. It's actually happening, which is very, very unfortunate. Recall those moments when you were helpless and when your parents have taken care of you. Now you don't care about them. You care about husband. You care about your your wife, so-called wife, which came much, much later in your life. And that is also not because of genuine love. It is because of attachment. Genuine love must be there with your parents, which is not there. So you prefer the pretended love, which is attachment with your husband and wife, unfortunately. Right? So there is more attachment, less love in today's world. Right? So this is very sad. That's what he's saying. And then the 10th point is basically now summarizing all the point. He's saying that your youth, or this youth, when your body, speech, and mind are fresh and vigorous, is lost or wasted when spent in ordinary indifference. Ordinary indifference. Meaning that when you are youthful, vigorous, energetic, right, then whether you do dharma practice or any worldly, activities, you have the capacity to succeed in that. You have the capacity to achieve the result. But when you already become quite old, then you don't have much capacity to do either the worldly activities or the religious activities. So therefore, why this is being said here? This is being said because ordinarily people think that now I'm young, I have to get married, I have to enjoy life, I have to go to the north and to the south and to the west, holidaying or whatever, business or whatever. And when all this is done, then I will do my dharma practice. And I remember His Holiness once saying that this is the wrong way of thinking. When you are unable to succeed in the world, ordinary worldly life, how can you hope to get success in your religious practice? When your mind is already, declining, your physical capacity is also declining, how can you do dharma practice? So therefore, his suggestion is 50-50. 50-50 means it is understandable that you need to work for your livelihood and things like that. That's understandable. We cannot just completely devote our life to Dharma. In the case of many of us, that's not possible. So 50-50 means 50% for this life, 50% for many lives to come. So 50% your ordinary activities, 50% Dharma practice. That must, or in other words, 50% for your body, 50% for your mind. Don't just spend all your energy for your body or for this life. That's what he's saying. Okay. So this is happening because we don't meditate on impermanence and death. Because now I will go here, I'll go there, do this business, that business. And when all is done, then I'll do Dharma practice. Means that you are prepared to live a quite long life. Impermanence means change. Change is there all the time. And change in the form of death can also come anytime. So from where did you get this confidence that you will not die until you have completed your business, until you have made enough money? From where did you get this confidence? Can you please put your signature, guaranteeing that you will not die until you have collected enough money? Right? There's no guarantee. But we go like that because we don't think. We don't think. We just follow the trend set by the world. And then on the day when the death comes, you're caught by surprise. Then the only thing left is you tremble in fear, tremble with fear. No? So therefore, he's saying this is the time, just like a farmer, when you have a, fertile land, when the season is also the right season, then there is the time to plant seed and plow the land. So if you don't do at that time, then during improper season, whether if you plant something, it will not grow. So again, here you should be realistic, as I already mentioned, 50-50, or at least every day do something. Think some positive things. Try to make others happy, not just flattering, but with sincere good jobs, right? Create that vibration, positive vibration in the society. And here in this case, I do think that, people who really uh, uh, it's important for people to create this good vibration, right? In other words, the good people must make their presence felt in the society. Sometimes so-called good people are not forthcoming. Their presence is not felt. In the wrongdoers, their presence is immediately felt. If somebody kills somebody, it comes out in the newspaper. So that gives the impression that the world is now hopeless. But as I think Mahatma Gandhi was somebody who said, you should not lose faith in the humanity. Humanity is like a big ocean, right? So one or two, things polluting that ocean will not affect much. So majority of the people are well meant and good people, but we are not voicing our genuine, you know, heartfelt uh, experience. We are not voicing that out. We let not so good people rule us. I heard from somebody that when you study very hard, then you become a doctor or an engineer. If you don't study very hard and being naughty, then you become a politician. That's the way they can rule the good people, the educated people. To a great extent, this is true. So I really feel that, as I mentioned, that the voice of the good people must be felt around so that there is not much opportunity for bad people to voice their, negative, experiences. That's very, very important, I think. All right, so I stop here. Ask some questions.
Thank you, Geshe. There are a few English questions.
Okay.
I will start with. So this question says, Bhagwan Buddha in his teaching said, Ab Deepo Bhava. And similarly, in yogic practices, it is written that any of the technique which illuminates path of a sadhak is proved ineffective once it is written or given. Is it correlates that one must have to find his own way? No technique, no regimen that is imitated will help? If I'm correct, then do I need a mentor, guide, or guru in the spiritual journey when many just speak about nirvana and not even know themselves? I have been to some who just said that, go be in your family. It is a trap of Maya. You may go astray. Then to be a regular practitioner in this unknown way, which is without quantity, what should be the regime for sure shot success?
Yeah. if you are looking for, I remember His Holiness answering something like this question, where he said, if you want the shortest and quickest path, you will also get the cheapest path, which will not be very useful, right? So as I mentioned, just as in the case of development of negative emotions, you need internal factors and external factors. So similarly, in terms of your spiritual practice and development, you also need internal factors and external factors. So internal factors means, as I already mentioned, that you must use your brain, not just. I'm not saying don't listen to other people. You can listen, but you should have that capacity to listen carefully, and should have the capacity to judge what sounds right and what sounds wrong. Okay? Don't just follow what others said without any knowledge. That's what is happening with the majority of us. We just follow somebody without a question, without a single question. Then in many cases we might get into trouble. That should not be there, right? So your questioning is very important. But this does not mean to say that just because of you are intelligent, you have questioned, you investigated, you will find the path for yourself. That is not possible. Even the most intelligent person, question with a questioning mind, if he has to travel to a unknown land, he has to ask the tour guide, ask somebody, what is the way? He cannot just find the way because he's intelligent, because he has never been there, right? His intelligence and his questioning will help, but just by that self, he will not find the way. He has to ask somebody who has more experience than himself. So similarly, and especially this is true in the case of spiritual practice, especially when we choose the path to nirvana and enlightenment, then it's really important to, if possible, find a teacher who had actually traveled through those paths. If not possible, at least somebody who has spent many, many years studying about those paths which are taught by reliable masters like Buddha and Nagarjuna and so forth. So both conditions are necessary. Okay.
Thank you, Geshe-la. Another question is, hi, Geshe-la, how often do you teach your month-long Lojong teachings? Where are these classes advertised? And what are your favorite books?
No, I'm not a qualified teacher. I'm an administrator. I don't know whether you know me or not, but I'm supposed to be director of this small institute called Library of Tibetan Works and Archives, where I have to look after 60 odd staffs and make them do work. So occasionally, because I speak some broken English and have little bit Dharma, so therefore occasionally people request me to give some short teaching, then I give some short teachings. That's it. So I don't have a fixed program of teaching, because I'm not my job is not just teaching, it's some many other things. But having said that, during the last many years, because of my age, and as I said, because of I know a little bit Dharma and a little bit English and also a little bit Hindi, so many people ask me to teach and to give a talk online. So that way, unfortunately or fortunately, I become quite popular. There are many people listening to me, online. So now I have started. Before that, I've never advertised myself, because there are so many qualified teachers, so I don't dare to, call myself teacher and give those teachings. But I'm now becoming a kind of reluctant teacher. So uh, so now, because many people who have listened to me online, they appreciate that, and many have come to me saying that this was very useful, things like that. Then I have started thinking, oh, now it may be time for me to start something by myself without having requested. For example, this particular teaching is requested. I did not say, please let me give you a teaching. I did not say. It is requested by the Shantideva Center in New York. And so that's the case. But now I've started thinking that maybe I should organize like 5 days teaching, maybe in Dharamsala in the library where people can come and spend 5 days in the library. We have some rooms also. I've never done this earlier. So funny, I've given talks and teachings to different places, traveling there and teaching there, but never done this properly in the library, except short teachings like this, and that also as requested by others. But yeah, then you know, part of answer to your question is yes, I like, of course, all these teachings, but especially the mind training teachings by Shantideva, Nagarjuna, Tsongkhapa, Atisha. These are all my favorite teachings. Yeah.
Thank you, Geshe. And one last English short question before Natasha asks the questions is, someone asked why you call Buddha as Lord Buddha. Is that not against his teachings?
I don't think it's against his teaching, although you must have read this book. There is a book written by a Zen Roshi who right in the beginning said, if you meet the Buddha on the road, kill him. Have you read that book? If you meet the Buddha on the road, kill him. He did not mean to, practice violence, but he was saying was Buddha never uh, uh, tried to lift his personality, never tried to make him look big, and the followers are doing it. So therefore, he used this phrase: if you meet the Buddha on the road, kill him. Right? But my own understanding is yes. Uh, it's again kind of law of nature that the more you remain humble and the more you are kind and compassionate and knowledgeable, the more people will respect you. It's a natural product. So therefore, his students, out of respect, offered him many of these epithets, like the enlightened Buddha, awakened Buddha, Lord Buddha, uh, omniscient Buddha, all those great epithets given by the students. So I don't think there's any contradiction.
Thank you, Geshe. Natasha, if you have your questions.
Yes, Geshe, I think that we have just one rather short question. It says, Guru Rinpoche, there is a prediction by Guru Rinpoche that the war is expected in 2424. What year is that in our chronology?
I have no idea. I have read this kind of prediction where Guru Rinpoche mentions that that Tibet will be controlled by China. That is there. I used to read that prayer myself. Apart from that, I have no idea about this prediction. But also, unfortunately, fortunately, I don't pay much attention to predictions.
We don't have any more questions today.
Good. That's called emptiness.
Geshe, one more English question, if possible.
Yeah.
Okay. I think in the beginning you had said that this text includes teachings of both the Kadampa and the Mahamudra of Kagyu. Please, can you explain the meaning of the Mahamudra?
Mahamudra basically refers to the emptiness, the ultimate nature of the mind. The ultimate nature of the mind is emptiness, like any other phenomena, right? So it primarily refers to there's Mahamudra of the path, Mahamudra of the fruit, then the wisdom, understanding, emptiness, also sometimes called Mahamudra. So it has many different meanings.
Someone, Geshe, just posted a question in the chat saying, hi, Geshe, thank you for being here with us. Would you say that having a fear of flying is the same as living a negative emotion? And should I focus on the 10 kinds of waste or loss to free myself from this fear?
Fear of what? Lying.
Flying. Flying.
Oh, okay. Fear. Flying. Okay. Fear of flying. Yeah. All this fear arises because of your too much attachment and obsession with yourself. And there, I remember one stanza from, I think stanza from 400 verses by Aryadeva, where there's a beautiful line which says that since I have completely given up attachment, I don't even fear death. I don't even fear the load of death. So that is to me very powerful. So that is to say all fear comes because of your obsession, attachment, craving to yourself. When we die, we fear because you have obsession to your body. So you are thinking of, this body is going away. But if you're a good practitioner, meditationer, so what? Why you're so scared of that death? Because the death is only there with the body. There's no death to the mind. The mind continues. Even if there is a air crash, it will not be able to destroy the mind. It will only destroy your body, not your mind. Right? So there is no death in that sense. That's one way of thinking. And the second way is that fear is of no use. And you develop fear. I also develop fear. When there's turbulence, we try to hold on to the chair, There's natural reaction, but that is actually of no help. Right? But it happens. Some people are scared to death when they fly, But yeah.
So Geshe-la, people are posting a few more questions. Someone says, may Geshe-la please give us some instructions as to how we can continue with the study and practice of this text?
Now, this text is available in English. I'm sure you have the copy, right? So read that. I don't. There are some of the Kajiva masters. They have given lengthy teachings on this text. They are all available on YouTube. So listen to that. Apart from that, English commentary of this text, I don't know whether there is one like that. I don't know. So if there is one, just try to find it and read it. Okay.
Thank you, Geshe-la. And I hope, and this may be the last question. Someone wrote, how can we know Dhammapada is authentic and there is no manipulation in it by followers?
Dharma what?
The Dhammapada. How can we know Dhammapada is authentic and there is no manipulation in it by followers?
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of talk about this. The teachings that we are reading today. Many people ask the question, is this really what is taught by Buddha? Not only Dhammapada, but the 108 volumes of teachings of the Buddha. Many question that. But this question is not only is a question that is found with the Buddhist teaching. This question is there with all the major religions. The Bible that you have when it was written, was there writing at the time of Jesus? Was there writing at the time of Muhammad? So regarding this, if you really want to know more, then you should read this book by American lady. She is still alive, Karen Armstrong. She has written this book called Triple Axiom, Three Axioms or something like that. Three axial period. So that means Buddha, Jesus, and someone, maybe, I don't know, Aristotle or somebody, golden period. So there she talks about that, But then here the answer, at least this may be true with other religions. Also in the case of Buddhist teachings, it is said that in those days, students have a lot of faith to the teaching of the Buddha. And after listening to the Buddha, they come together, see it, and then try to recall what he has said. So they memorize many of these things. And then later on, when the writing came up, then based on their memory, whatever they remembered, they wrote it down. So there may be a little bit lapses here and there, but generally we can say this is authentic. This is like your parents, telling you many stories, which you remember without even writing. You remember many of these things and tell others. Now, if some people ask you whether this is authentic, is this really what your parents said? Then you can say, this is what I heard. And then they'll have to agree with that this is authentic. So similar like that. Okay.
Thank you so much, Geshe-la. Shall we end with our dedication prayers?
Yes. May the precious bodhicitta, which you have not cultivated, be cultivated. And may the precious bodhicitta that we have cultivated be further enhanced. May all the conflicts that is happening right now in many places in the world come to an end. May there is less unnecessary suffering, which many people are experiencing right now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Geshe-la, on behalf of all the centers,
you.
Tushita Delhi, Tushita Dharamsala, Jamyang London, Shantideva Center, to Save Tibet Foundation for translating, and Chechen Bhai, and all the Russian translators in the previous courses. Thank you, Geshe-la. So many messages in the chat from students saying, Geshe-la, please continue teaching, and asking when you will be teaching again. So just to say that Geshe-la has said, he's willing to continue with the text next year when his schedule is more free, which won't be until May 2025. So it'll be wonderful if we all, in our prayers, create the aspirations for Geshe-la to return and continue teaching us this text and many more.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Geshe-la.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I'm going to unmute
See
everyone. If you wish to share your greetings with Geshe-la, please do so. Just give me 1 minute to unmute.
Yeah.
Okay, now you can unmute yourselves if you wish to say something to Geshe-la.
Thank you, Geshe-la. Thank you,
Thank you,
Sinead.
Geshe-la.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Geshe-la.
for the Thank
teaching.
Geshe-la.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Geshe.
Thank you.
Thank you, Geshe-la.
Thank you.
Thank you,
I
Geshe-la.
can
Thank
see
you.
Tuchinang, Geshe-la.
Please
Tuchina.
continue this teaching.
Thanks a lot, Geshe-la.
Sure.
Thank you.
Tuchinam,
Please
Geshe-la.
continue
Have
teaching.
a spirit
Thank you so much, Geshe-la.
Bujiche. See you again. See you in Dharamsala. Okay.
Yay.
Bye-bye.
Geshe-la, thank you. Good night, Geshe-la, and thank you, everyone.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.